Sunday morning, June 5th. I'm in Ohio, in the garden, zone 6A, and I thought I'd do a video so you can see what's happening here at this time of year. And I'd like to talk a little bit about irrigation. First of all, the carpet rose and the rue just look spectacular right now. I love that little spot there. The spinach is bolting. We're still getting some lettuce because this is a decent head lettuce. Doesn't bolt, stays good even into June. Everything else is just coming along, looking good. And I hear a lot about how much time and effort people put in to watering their gardens, and it makes me sad because I think most of it's unnecessary. Overwatering not only promotes fungal diseases, but it also does not encourage large root systems. If the roots never need to go looking for water, if it's always right there every time they need it, they don't need to send out their roots to find it. So the more you water as your plants are growing, the more you need to water later on when it stops raining and gets hotter and drier, which is what's going to happen as we move into June and July. And the way I avoid watering is to have a nice, deep, rich soil that holds on to the water. It will drain, but it holds on to water also. And never overwatering. Once I plant my transplants, or once my seed beds sprout, I water very little. Rather than just having a regular watering routine, I check the plants and see how they're doing. And very, very rarely do I need to water. If I plant some perennial plants, for example, that I got on sale, later in the summer, yes, I'm going to need to water a lot because I'm really planting the wrong time, or not so much the wrong time, but just a more difficult time. But if whatever you can get in the spring when it's still raining is good, because usually rain takes care of the watering needs. So I do have a water capture system and some watering cans that I use when absolutely necessary to water. But let's just take some examples here. So my tomatoes, I plant them. I buy them at the nursery as little starts. I plant them and I water them in. And then a day or two later, I check. And if they're not wilted, or if they're looking good, I don't water. This one probably got watered once or twice. That's exactly what you want. For the next few months, I probably won't water at all, at least the tomatoes, even if we go into an extremely dry period. I just come out and I check, and if they look good, I don't water. Even if they're wilting in the heat of a very hot afternoon, I don't water. I wait. Do they perk back up in the evening? Yes. Okay, that's just normal. That's what tomatoes do. Garlic, of course, is never watered. It's planted in the fall and never watered once. Same with onion sets. They're not seeds. They're already partially grown plants. Never water. Strawberries, of course, are perennial. Never watered. My peas and beans over here. Peas are planted extremely early in the spring when we're usually getting lots of rain. Usually the problem is the opposite. They can rot in the ground if it's too wet and cold before they sprout. So rarely irrigate those. Green beans, put the seeds in the ground and water them once, and then they're usually good to go. There have been years when I just didn't do that. I just put them in the ground, never watered once throughout the entire season. Rain took care of it, had a great crop. So if you have very poor soil, it's all sand or all clay, yes, you're going to be caught in